I am what you would call a lazy son of a bitch. There are only a few things in the world that would appeal to me, and the effort itself to pursue one of those passions is not a part of those several things. So because I don't have the will to go out and frolic like a fucking fool through a thunderstorm fresh field of tulips and daisies, which to be honest I haven't done anything outdoors related in years, I sit in front of my prestigious TV. It's nothing new or fancy. At my most generous guess, it would probably be about 12 inches. The upside was that it was a flat screen. I also had satellite TV, which was another thumbs up, I guess. Sitting on your ass in front of the idiot box won't get you any success. It won't better your social life, and it sure as hell won't get you laid. But it has shown me many awful things that I am able to keep with me. I'll always remember one program in particular that's had me out of my seat, going through my neighborhood looking for the key to my own safety. It's all because of that one of the programs I hate. Infomercials. I hate nothing more than seeing paid programming instead of actual titles. No info, no story, just some host selling America's its next top useless gadget. What makes this infomercial much more different than all the others was not so much what they were advertising, but how they were advertising it. It was roughly 15 minutes long, and it was airing late at night, like how most infomercials are. More and more, an hour passes, and a new question pops up into my head. Recently, I've asked myself, how did it air without struggle during the storm? Just a few moments ago, I asked, who put that up for the cable company to air, and how did it even air on TV? My mind can never really stay at rest, I swear to God. It was roughly a month and a half ago when I was up late during a humid summer night. I believe it was going around 3 a.m., and it was storming out. Since I'm sitting on my gradually fattening ass in front of the idiot box, I started to get a little annoyed at the, quote, searching for signal message played throughout the prolonged periods of time. When it did disappear, it was temporary, and sometimes all that would play would be a digital glitch of whatever was playing at that moment. Then right back for searching for the goddamn signal. I grew tired of the silence of the television, and I wanted to hear heavy cars crashing from those caught-on-tape shows, incoherent screams of an audience at a pro wrestling event, or even the laugh of SpongeBob and Patrick. I picked up my remote, hidden in the rocks, nooks and crannies of my slowly aging and breaking recliner I was sitting in. I hit the guide button to see what was playing on other channels I'd normally watch. Most of the titles of other programs were gone because of the storm, and the satellite was still trying to, quote, collect data, unquote. I was rather annoyed by this, and about fed up with the cable. I was about to turn it off and go to bed, but after scrolling up one more page, I saw text in a program box. Alright, I thought to myself. That alright quickly became into a, oh, for fuck's sake! The program I thought I was going to see was entitled Paid Programming. I humored myself. Most of the other channels I watched were still glitchy and gathering data. Might as well watch something I didn't like so much without the glitches. Then the best show ever and then miss all the greatest parts because of glitches. Rolling my eyes, I highlighted the box with the words paid programming to see info on the channel, which sparked some questions and oddness. The info for paid programming wasn't what it usually was in the info for infomercials, which is usually the title itself again. The info said, supplies are running out. Not only did the words create an odd and curious atmosphere, they also gave me the feeling of deja vu. That feeling that you've been there before, experienced this at some point, though it couldn't really be for anything at that moment. My mind then went to the channel after it was done trying to figure out the info, but failing. The channel name and number were ones I had never seen before. The channel number was 73, which I don't ever remember ordering or even watching. What was even odder was its name. Ask Why, or ASKY. Why? What does the channel stand for? Why am I only seeing this now? More questions as if I needed to comprehend anything. Eventually, the thinking grew tiresome. I didn't want to think, just fry a few brain cells staring at the host making a fool out of himself, trying to make cash out of some stupid product most people probably wouldn't even need to use. The program was only 15 minutes long, and it was scheduled to air at 3:15 a.m. and air at 3:30 a.m. Not having very many other choices, I highlighted the block and pressed select on the remote. Static. That's all it was. All that was visible was fucking static. What little hopes of seeing something I had dropped like a dumbbell. But wait, static? Satellite TV doesn't show static when the receiver is on. It only shows a searching for signal message on a black screen. Why the hell was there static? It went on for about 2 minutes, and I just sat there gazing into it. I hoped my mind would entertain me and show me a face in the screen just to fuck with me. I was getting desperate. When I was just about to turn off the TV and call it a night, the loudest white noise stopped, and the sound that was very faintly resembling playing in my head. Like I knew it was from somewhere. More deja vu, more stuff to think about, and I thought you'd fried your brain from watching this shit. I focused my attention back on the TV, and it appeared to be a bog or a swamp of some sort. Bullfrogs' booming voices could be heard. Dragonflies could be seen as well as lily pads and dirty, muddy water. I took more notice of the scenery because it seemed to hold a sacred place in my mind. I paid no attention to the mumbles of voices in the background of the shot. It was 3:18 a.m. when an Indonesian man stepped in front of the camera. Finally, something was gonna happen. Only to be bullshitted again for another minute. He was talking with someone outside of the shot, and seeing as how the camera angle shook a little during the response to the man in front of the camera, I figured it was why the cameraman was being spoken with. The man in front of the camera turned away from the screen to his right, left of my perspective, and yelled at something. The yell was full of rage, like it said something hostile or violent. Maybe a threat? At 3:19 a.m., the Indonesian man spoke with a heavy accent. So heavy most people wouldn't have been able to understand what he was saying. I don't know, but I was able to decipher what this man was trying to say. Well, most of it anyways. He started with, "Good morning. We have yet another our high-quality products available for sale. Stay tuned and watch us perform 3 tests with it to show how top quality it is." What are they selling? The host then made a motion of his hand and then said, "Come here." It was gestured to his left, the right of the screen from my perspective. At 3:20 a.m., a large alligator appeared. It had jagged and rough-looking skin, and the teeth looked like it was sharpened with a hard mineral. It was something out of a horror movie. It wasn't that creepy, though. Because of all the deja vu moments, I felt like this could very well be a part of them as well. At 3:21, the host said, "Okay, first we will test the quality of the creature's skin." His hand reached up above the view of the camera, and his hand had something. Bringing it down into its rear, we see it as a sharp, serrated blade. With absolutely no expression of fear whatsoever, the host casually walks up to the gator like it's a domesticated pet, and my heart drops as it begins to saw at the skin of the gator. Very oddly, into my prediction of what would happen, the alligator does nothing at all. He just lays down and takes the cutting like it's a normal thing. The host finishes up at 3:23 a.m. and says, "See? Not one scratch is left on the skin." He was telling the truth. Not one scratch could be found. I was almost impressed by it. I kind of wanted to see if it would cut it. "We seem to be running out of time, so we shall begin the other 2 tests the same time using the same subject." He said it all with a smile. "We shall test the cutting capability of the teeth and the power of the jaw." He backs away from the camera and looks to his right and screams. He makes a quick and violent gesture for whatever it is to get where he was at. Screaming could be heard off screen, and the host got fed up and walked towards the source of the scream. At 3:25, the host walks back into the shot with someone over his shoulders, fighting him to let them down. It appeared to be a teenage girl. She had on jeans, which seemed to be dirty from mud, and a long-sleeved shirt. She wasn't from anywhere the infomercial was being filmed. She had no accent, and the fact she sounded American. What would have been a shock for me was simply the expression of indifference. The poker face. The host was having trouble controlling the girl and gestured for the help with the cameraman. The view shakes once, and a fat man wearing a dirty shirt with khaki shorts is now in the view. The cameraman picks up the girl's head by her hair and hits her in the face with a hard haymaker. The sound of the blow was impressive. It was enough to control her and settle her down, for the moment at least. It made it easier for the host and the cameraman to grab her wrist and ankles and throw her to the left, where the alligator was. That's when my heart dropped a little bit. The alligator wasted little time. As soon as the girl landed with a thud, the alligator bit at her and consumed her entire arm. She let out a wail painful to hear for the normal person. And with that was heavy gasping and sobbing. None of the noises lasted long, as the alligator bit her neck from the side and consumed half of it. The screams and sobs then turned into gurgling. Blood, I thought. The alligator let go of the neck and dug into everything else like it was a feast before death. It went from the neck to the head and consuming it whole. The cracking and crushing sound of the skull made me flinch a little. From there it went to the torso, into the legs, and so on. At 3:28 there was no longer a corpse for the alligator to tear at. Body pieces were all over the swampy floor. Even the nearby water had a fainted red tint to it. The camera then went back to the host, who said nothing. He just stared into the camera. He stared through the TV. He stared into me. The stare is what sent chills down my spine. It's like he was watching me, waiting for me to move or say something. When I did move, his eyes followed, and this continued until 3:29 a.m. when he said, "Order it soon, because we are running low on supplies." Even when saying that, he had that soul-piercing stare in his eyes. The camera then went back to static, and the information was over. All that night was over to me, but what stuck with me was that stare. From then on, I couldn't sleep as well as I used to. When I closed my eyes, I saw his. When their eyes were open, I saw his entire face. It was happening so often that I considered learning how to live with it. Eventually, I saw him on the television again. His entire face with that stare would be on for 5 minutes. Then it would cut to regular programming. I grew fed up with it, and I didn't want to see his face anymore. I ended up tossing out the satellite receiver and started reading to forget about him. However, in the small sewers in the deepest system of thoughts, I had to go back to over those questions. I had to ask why I was so sick of seeing the host's face. I had to look through all my thoughts that weren't fried by the idiot box. Did I not want to see him because of all the stares in the screen that I despise so much? Or was it because he gave me that stare in the past and said, "We're low on supplies, so help me with this girl or our restock will be instant"? It creeps me out when he threatens. It creeps me out even more that somebody was watching us. And that, my little shadows, was Alligator Girl on channel ASKY. A, lost commercial creepypasta. My final thoughts on the story? That was chilling. I have to be completely honest when I say this, that was probably one of the most chilling things I have read so far. Holy hell, was this amazing, and, I gotta admit, that lazy person and everything watching that, yeah, that's kind of me sometimes. Although I don't really watch a whole lot of television, although I'm probably going to be watching a good bit of it in the trailer. But still, it was nuts, people. That entire thing was downright nuts. And I loved every single ounce of it. I loved how this was something that was playing around 3 a.m. And here's the thing when it comes to TV. Television programming and things like that, when you really start watching it really late at night, you're bound to find some really screwed up kind of shit on there. Whether it be extremely crazy adult cartoons or messed up infomercials or just downright stupid things that you wouldn't even bother paying for, I'm going to guarantee that something like this is very much a plausibility. Now, is it completely, true? I don't know. And that's the weird thing, and that's actually something I can say. I don't know if this is actually true or not. I don't really find this to be completely and utterly out of the ordinary. It's an interesting concept, it's an interesting freak-out moments. It's just a fucked up commercial that somebody wound up watching at 3 a.m. I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm freaked out, but at the same time, it's so interesting. I love it to death. I love the story so much. It's a beautifully well-made story, and it plays out so logically and real. And the protagonists themselves, is like anybody that could be anybody. He isn't like a cookie-cutter protagonist, and he isn't like someone that's completely unrealistic. There are people out there that do nothing more but watch TV all the time. Or they watch the internet, or whatever it may seem to be. It's any of those kind of things. And people would be willing, sometimes people do find some crazy stuff on there. Hackings do happen at times with television. And they're probably happening much more than we think nowadays because people don't watch TV anymore. But overall, this story was downright interesting, it was amazing, and it really piqued my curiosity and everything, when I was reading this story. It's a downright, and it's a damn right amazing story. I love this a lot. It's everything. It's an amazing concept, amazing creepypasta. I like it. Yeah, I think I probably said that a lot. So let's just go on ahead and skip off to, is there anything negative about this story? No, there's nothing negative about the story I can think of. Everything is extremely realistic, the concept itself is interesting, there is blood and gore, but it's played out in such an amazing way that it works well with the story. I mean, and the ending just plays out well and it wraps everything up, too. I genuinely love this story, and if anything, this story should get a lot more praise and everything. But like I say before, this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with it, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply just my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would have to be a 10 out of 10. A downright amazing concept, creepypasta, and just really good. I liked it a lot. I genuinely did. But what did you guys think about this creepypasta? Did you guys enjoy it? Did you guys not? Also, what would you have personally done to help make the story a lot better? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'm the Shadow Reader. Thanks again for watching today's episode. If you're brand new here, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. And like always, roll the outro because I'm out. In fear and surprise as your eyes widen, your mouth goes dry with each battered breath. You try to scream, your mind begs to leave. Glued to your computer screen, the killers they slash, the tapes burn and crash. The cartridge you bought will be your final haunt. The rituals of hate will seal your fate. The tears you shed will be from the fear-gripping, horror-driven, nightmarish, gore-filled, terrorizing, hateful, burning, violent, rage-inducing, knife-slashing, blood-splattering, silent screams. Only time will tell if you will escape this online hell. Your horror-filled obsessions will come with its own regressions. Your pathetic screams will not be heeded in any way, because your nightmares will come at any day.